everyone, this is Gail from Gail's Upstairs Studio. I hope you're all doing well. Last weekend, I finished up spring cleaning in my studio, and it dawns on me that there's been a few changes in my studio since the last time I did a tour. Nothing major, no major furniture or anything, but I have updated things a little bit, and I thought we would take an updated studio tour. The first thing you're going to notice is, if you watched the last one that I did, is the curtains are different. The old ones that were there were just that. They were old and tattered and just dingy. So I decided to update a little bit. And I was going to do bottoms and toppers, and I decided I didn't like the bottoms. So I left the rod, but I took the curtains off the bottom, and I really like that it gives me some hanging space. I have this planter hanging there and one down there, and it came in very handy this Christmas craft fair season, because when I was working on hand-painted Christmas balls, I would paint one and then use S-hooks and hang it right up there to dry. And it came in clutch, actually, at craft show time. So, and the bench is the same, and this setup is pretty much the same. This drawer unit here was down here on the other side of the bookcase, and I just switched it that way. Another different thing on the workbench is I now have a desk set up down here at the end. And I really like that, because this actually was a little bit of a wasted space before, and I would be working down in this section, and when I was done with something, I just slide it down, and it was just starting to get piled up, and so I decided I needed a use, and I need a desk. So instead of going and buying a desk, I just turned this corner into one. I have a stool under there for it, and there is my ex-laundry basket still being used as a trash can. And in these drawers, I have some brush pens, and this is swatching stamps for watercolor, and some ink pads, paint pens. That's nothing right now. And I have some drawing materials in there, some washi tape, and still going strong, my Pentel brush pens. I love them. And down here I have some more drawing type things. I have masking fluid pen, a small white Posca pen, and some fountain pens. And these are markers that I use in my planner a lot. And over here is my journal and a few other things. And this is my planner. And it's working out very nicely for me. Now up here, I have a painting that I did hanging there, and one that I painted hanging there. And it is basically a place for them to hang so they're not stacked. And I'll be taking them down at some point. And this is still in the same place. It's slid down a little bit, but I now keep all my sketchbooks on the bottom shelf there, and I have an encyclopedia set, an Audubon encyclopedia set from the 70s that was gifted to me from my mother-in-law that I love looking at, and a few other books down there, and just some things that I want to leave out, because if I put them away, I forget I have them, that kind of thing. All of my acrylic and gouache brushes and other tools. Now we'll walk down to this bookcase, which has changed up a lot. It's going to change again because I think that this bookcase has lived its life and it's starting to get rickety. So I think at some point I'm going to look for a different solution. But this has floral reference materials, my Tombow markers, my color cubes by Sarah and Renee Clark that I love very much, my acrylic marker set from Artix that I've shown on the channel recently, and I really kind of like this down here are my 3 porcelain palettes. Actually, there's 4 palettes there, 3 are porcelain and 1 is a butcher tray, and I keep those right out now, and more reference materials and some stuff I use for mixed media work that I am having a lot of fun with. I'm just getting started in that, and I'm really enjoying that. This is my watercolor table that I believe is going to turn back into what it was originally, which was my lettering table. And this was 4 years ago, I think, that bought it specifically for lettering, and I think that's what it's going to turn back into because I do most of my watercolor over here. And now I'm going to show you something that I didn't show you last time. I'm not going to show these cupboards down here because they are still kind of full with things that don't have to do with the studio. I have a lot of wedding stuff from both of my kids' weddings. They got married a year apart. And I have a lot of stuff from that and just stuff that doesn't belong in here. And until I get that organized for here, I'm not going to show that. But I did clean out the drawers. Sorry about the shadows. I have to film this at night because it's the only time I have at the moment. This is my light box and some paper in here and some finished projects too. This is a drawer that has glue and tape and picture hanging stuff and just a lot of odds and ends, a lot of eye hooks that I use and trimmers and things like that. And this one is paper, not watercolor paper, but other papers. I have tracing paper. That is actually a palette paper pad that should go in my other cabinet. And some Bristol paper and some graph paper. And that is all blank paper. And then this in here is, I use old paper pads that are empty to organize things. This is all of mixing charts and swatching charts and things like that. And then this one here is tracings and things that I've done from my old works. This is a new thing from the last video, and it was the best thing. It's small, but it's mighty. And in fact, it's several different things. I bought this unit first, and it came all in one piece. And it's empty at the moment because I'm reconfiguring it, but just little drawers in there. And then last summer, I happened to be looking on Amazon, and they had a set of 4 units with 4 drawers each. And so I got all 4 of these together, and they stack on top of one another. So I just stacked 2 on top here, had my 1 unit with 1 extra drawer in it next to that, and then did the other 2 on the end. And it holds so much, and I am able to keep a lot of things in it that I like to keep track of individually. Needed small spaces for it, so that's great. This here is all of my professional watercolors by brand. I have Da Vinci, Daniel Smith, M. Graham, Core, Winsor & Newton, Mission Gold, My Mary Blue, and these are Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. And I'll just take out the Daniel Smith one to show you. And they fit perfectly in there. I'll actually show you my Da Vinci because that's the one I have the most of, and they fit in there great. And it's wonderful to, if I am, and I am doing some reorganization of my paint palettes right now, and it's wonderful if I need one of my brands to work out swatch cards or whatever. I just come over and pull the drawer, and it's wonderful. And then this here, I'm going to pull down. This is actually all the swatches of the brands that I have here. So if I'm looking for something, it's right on top. And just a nice little teacup. And one of my favorite books that my son gave me for Christmas several years ago. And this is empty. But this is Marie's Gouache. Fit in there great. And this one is empty. This one is Fudenosuke pens and some metallic pens. And this is fine liners. And this is my Sharpie Creative markers, paint pens. They're from Michaels, actually. And these are cotton swabs and empty half pans. And I showed this in the last video that I did on the studio. It is a bottle that my friend and I made. She made one and I made one using clay. It was fun. And these are baskets just there in case I need them for something. And so I just put them there. These are all coloring books. And these are all like Country Living magazines and several other types of magazines just for visual reference. I keep them out so I can grab them quickly. This is just a basket sitting here, and I always plug my tablet in at the end of the night. So I have that in the basket, and it plugs into this outlet. And this cabinet was solid full of all kinds of different things also that didn't belong in the studio. And I finally have reclaimed it for the studio. And it's a perfect situation for what I needed. This is my laminator and all my laminating sheets for when I do notebooks and things. And this is my We Are Memory Keepers mini cinch and the coils that go with it. And I have binding glue here, and I have my book binding kit that I've shown on this video in this little pouch, and some regular glue. And for now, this is just a small basket of tassels that I use for making bookmarks. And I use my laminator right here on this counter. So all I have to do is pull it down and plug it in right here. And I've been using it that way for a bit, and it works great. And finally, on this end, we have one more upper cabinet that I have fixed up. I'm not going to take all these out of here, but this is basically mostly materials for crafts that are different from my art. Like I have a basket of kids' craft things with pipe cleaners and jingle bells and crayons and things like that. And I have a basket full of ribbons and just basically craft supplies. And up there on the top are some wooden block stamps that I use. I have a lot more that, matter of fact, this cabinet was full of them at one point. They were all given to me years ago. And this is the stack that I use the most. And I have put the rest out in my storage room for now. And I still need to label the cubes, but I will do that. So that is this end of the studio. And it hasn't been this clean in a long time, but I did this way last spring too. I just explored and used my studio, didn't worry about keeping it clean in the winter, and then when the spring came, I cleaned it up. There isn't much different about this than my last video, except my top drawer. I have organized a lot better. Scissors and pliers and screwdrivers and things and pens and sandpaper. These are little paint pucks that I put in my water glasses when I do watercolor so I can clean my brushes out. Some blades and pencils and masking tape and double-sided tape here on the end. And I did want to show this drawer because it's changed a little. This was for framing and matting mostly, and watercolors in a basket over here that needed it. And I still have some of that over here. But I have used a bunch of like box tops and put all of my multi-surface acrylic paint in here, because I tend to paint on glass and things of that nature right here. And it is so nice just to pull out a few colors I need and be done with it. And when I'm done, I can put it back. And that has been working wonderfully for months now. And the other two drawers are the same. The bottom has full sheets of watercolor paper, and the next one up has pads of paper in it. And another new addition is the basket has changed, and I've got some prepped canvases ready to paint underneath. But the thing that has changed is I've added this cart. I got it at Michael's last winter, and I have all of my acrylics in here, Liquitex, and I have some Artist Loft and some Daler Rowney in here. All my long-handled brushes and some more paint down there and mediums and things like that. And on the bottom shelf of that is just pieces that go to this cart that I'm not needing right now. I just keep it in the bottom because I don't need to reach it for anything. And I love these because I use a lot of white and a lot of green and a lot of pink. So I buy those in bigger bottles, and it's nice to be able to hang them instead of have to fit them in anywhere else. My easel is the same. This drawer is my Traveler's Notebook journal inserts. And over here is like a hardware drawer. It's got skewers and batteries and magnets and things like that. And this just services my sink. It's just cloths and things. And this sink area has not looked this clean in probably a year and a half, so I'm pretty happy with that. And that doesn't belong in here. My husband has to take that out to his shop. But that's what it looks like. March 2025. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm feel very fortunate to have this room, and I'm in it a lot, and so I love it when it's all clean and tidy. It won't be. This is Friday. By Sunday night, yeah, it won't look anything like this. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.